The Anchor app. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Sports Scope. I'm your host, Robert Butler. That's a heck of a game plan going in there by Aaron Rodgers and what is it? What's his name? Mike LaFleur, the head coach there for Green Bay. A lot of people, myself included, thought this was going to be a blowout, everybody, by the Arizona Cardinals. I think Arizona's probably going to make some adjustments and come back, but I would not be surprised. Like I said on Tuesday on Sports Scope, when I was talking about the two teams that are going to persevere in the NFC would be Tampa and Arizona. And I was breaking down this Tampa game in Arizona for a potential NFC championship game and the kind of game plan that this Packer team has had for running the ball so much. That's what teams are going to use against this undefeated Arizona Cardinal team. Now, of course, it looks like Hopkins is questionable to come back. And I know that J.J. Watt was injured. He's going to be out practically the whole regular season, torn rotator cuff, shoulder injury and all that. So good game here. I still think the Arizona can come back and win it. I think this is much better than any of us would think a game like this would be played out. But we've got some really big games on this weekend. A lot of potential thoughts of coaching change type of games, guys. You know what? I'll tell you, Brian, good to see you on here. Sorry I didn't get to your question the other day. I was a little bit sideways, trying to get caught up with that. Thank you, man. Thank you. With Coach Mills there. But anyways, you know something? That Chicago game, Brian, Sunday against the 49ers is going to be a potential game where the loser talk radio, even in Northern California, people are going to start to talk about Kyle Shanahan. I know that sounds crazy. Guy went to the Super Bowl 2 years ago, and we already know about Matt Nagy, but Kyle Shanahan is 31 and 39. I had to look this up because there was some talk about, if they lost that game coming off of a bye week, got clearly outplayed. Colin Cowherd says that, Shanahan is coaching scared out there. He's coaching scared, and that game was in San Francisco. They had Jimmy Garoppolo back. They had a better running game, probably better players on defense. And they lost that game. And quite frankly, that is, they got the better. He hasn't done anything without Garoppolo. He's had one winning season. Kyle Shanahan, guys, has been there since 2017. He overthinks the room. Pickle says he's playing too cute by half. So, yeah, he's a guy that overthinks the room. He's blown a lot of leagues. And he has got he's blown a lot of leagues in the Super Bowl as a coordinator, as a head coach. He's had problems managing new coaches. These guys, this youth movement, guys, and Matt Nagy is a very young guy too. Back in my dad's day, even early in my day, you really didn't see a slew of 30-something, 40-something head coaches. You get outliers like John Gruden, John Madden, per se. But normally, head coaches don't get jobs till like their mid-40s to maybe 50. Now you've got guys 32, 33, 39, 40, 41 head coaches. You got guys like Zach Taylor coming out of, he's in a good situation now, but he was in mid-30s, never even been a coordinator. And he's taken over Cincinnati. Now they're playing well right now, but games like this game right here, this is a coaching type of game. Look at this game right here with the Green Bay. And Rodgers is basically being a coach on the field out there. And Matt Nagy, as far as he's concerned, another fairly young coach, probably 42 or 43 years old. They're coming. That's the worst game of the season. Allen Robertson basically took a shot at him the other day. He's on the trading block for Chicago. My thing is, they've got with Miami, like I said at the beginning of the season, one of the worst rated offensive lines in the NFL. Colin Cowherd made it a he did say something about they're paying their linebackers a fortune up there in Chicago. And they've got a guy coming up on, I would possibly, work out a trade with the Raekwon Smith. Yeah. Sean McVay and Matt LaFleur. It's good. It's good, Rich, when you have veteran quarterbacks. Two guys, 37-year-old Aaron Rodgers coaching himself out there. Sean McVay, what is he, 33 now? Year old Matthew Stafford there. But now McVay has put his 10,000 hours in. Football family, much better coach than I originally expected him to be. But a lot of these youth guys, they look good at first because they draw up really good plays. But when it comes to, like, for instance, I'm going to talk about Kevin Stefanski. Another guy, 39-year-old Kevin Stefanski. A lot of us millennials, Rich, and you're right in that age group, they're not confrontational. And a lot of what a head coach is supposed to do in this league is coach the coaches. You're in charge of all your coordinators, your two coordinators, your position coaches, your special teams. Even though you have coaches, you're supposed to coach them too. And sometimes you have to make a tough decision and really set those guys straight. These young guys are very non-confrontational. Now, you get me hot, guys that grew up with me like Rich, I could be very confrontational, but I like to prevent it. That's something about our generation. Not very non-confrontational, the be nice generation. So, but now Matt Nagy, the loser of that game, going back to the Bears and the 49ers, I think there's going to be talk. And even Kyle Shanahan, guys. Matt Nagy, we know. Now, Matt Nagy, I like him better than I like Ron Pace. They haven't done a good job there in Chicago getting an offensive line. Do you trade Allen Robertson and a Raekwon Smith for some veteran offensive linemen on a bad team? Yeah, possibly. Do you trade those guys for better draft picks? I don't think the Bears are going to do anything this year. I think the 49ers have been the absolute biggest disappointment in the league, considering their talent. Yeah, Kingsbury is having a Kingsbury and Zach Taylor are products of excellent quarterback play and hitting home runs in the draft. Wait till these guys get in the playoffs, get in these tight games where the competition's very even and where you got to manage the clock, you got to manage your timeouts, and then let's do a good grading system on them. Sean McVay folded like a cheap suit in the Super Bowl. Belichick was in his head. I'll give you guys another one. You've got a young coach there in the LA Chargers. Everybody's the Chargers, the odds makers have got the Chargers favored over the New England Patriots. They've got better players. They've got higher end skilled players. Justin Herbert's having a breakout year. But let me tell you this, guys. They're also heavily penalized team there in LA. I like the Chargers, but they're also bad against the run. What does the Patriots do really well? They run the football really well. What does the Dallas Cowboys do? They've been in top 5 rushing offense the entire season. They beat the Chargers. They outcoached the Chargers. The Ravens, one of the best top 5 rushing team. They blew the Chargers out. Last year, New England beat the Chargers 42-0. You know? So, but going back to that, the loser of that game in Chicago and San Francisco, the ball will be rolling. The loser of that game in Chicago, yeah, you can neutralize Joey Bosa. Brian says, I do not love the Chargers. Good, but I don't think they are there yet. Yeah, they are a team that can be neutralized by, you can neutralize a guy like Joey Bosa in that pass rush by running the football and keeping Herbert and that offense off the field, see? And other teams are going to emulate that. The 2 teams that beat them, and I wouldn't say decisively, but quite frankly, Cleveland should have beat them. Cleveland ran all over them, and then this is, Baker Mayfield doing Baker Mayfield things. So I do not think that it's too much of a hot take to say that people are going to start looking at Kyle Shanahan. Now, that being said, if it's me, Kyle Shanahan, you give him another year with Trey Lance, let him develop. Same thing with Nagy. I know, Brian, you guys up in Chicago, you hate Nagy. Nagy went to the playoffs last year, guys. Nagy went to the playoffs a few years ago with Mitch Trubisky. But Ryan Pace is the guy in Chicago. I'm done with Pace. I'm done with Pace. Why are you paying Andy Dalton all that money when you've got Nick Foles there? You're eating up all that money with that, So I think that those guys should get another year. Yeah. And Rich says the Chargers must win their division. The Chiefs keep falling back. Not sure if I trust the Raiders. Yeah, the Raiders have been a surprising team, by the way. Derek Carr, one of the highest completion percentages in the NFL this year. I think they're going to hang around. I really do. I mean, the Raiders have a lot of pushback in them. Veteran quarterbacks. I think it was Cowherd again. I'm getting this guy a lot of credit today. He did a stat, and he says most of the games last week were won by the team with the best quarterback. These veteran quarterbacks and this youth coaching movement are just dominating the league right now. Of course, the Tennessee Titans, they're an outlier with dominating the line of scrimmage. But these veteran quarterbacks are an excellent coaching. These old school coaches are getting the best of them. I think when push comes to shove, when we get deeper into the season, you're going to start to see that. I mean, talent-wise, Arizona should be blowing out Green Bay. They're at home. Best wide receivers out. Second best receivers out. Other receiver hasn't came back. It's a short week. One of the better pass rushes, even without J.J. Watt. One of the better defense. One of the more explosive offenses. And they're down 10-7 at halftime. Unbelievable. And that's all Aaron Rodgers there. And just smarting the defense there. Kind of like the way Brady did the Bears the other day. So going to the college game again with Dan Mullen. Dan Mullen's going to be on the hot seat. Speaking of guys like that, he's got 3 losses this year. Florida, Georgia. This is the biggest point spread. 14. Excuse me. Man, I wish I'd have grabbed that water. But I'm not going to be a professional. I'm just going to go up here and 14-point underdog to Georgia is right now. Florida, excuse me. And this is the biggest point spread in the Florida-Georgia rivalry, Pickles, since 1971. In 1971, Brett Murphy from Action Network tweeted out the Georgia Bulldogs covered. They beat Florida 49-7 that year. Dan Mullen's already got 3 losses. He had 4 losses last year. I know they played 2 points within Alabama, but I like Mullen. Good actual coach, but he's just not quite the recruiter that he should be at a place like Florida. 180 miles. I almost guarantee you every single recruiting season, you have a 5-star player within 180 miles of Gainesville, Florida, Pickles. Same thing with Miami. I like him. Quite frankly, if I'm an NFL team and I decide to move on for a coach, how come maybe the Raiders should call Dan Mullen? You know, he's really good with offense and quarterbacks. It seems like the minutia of recruiting is wearing on him. He's just getting smoked by Urban Meyer. He's getting smoked by Kirby Smart in Georgia. Georgia's got a lot of great players down there. But Florida's got good players, and especially being in there in the center. So this is weekend. Matt Nagy, Kyle Shanahan in the college game, Dan Mullen. Keep an eye out for those names. Potentially Jim Harbaugh, but he's undefeated with Michigan, and Mel Tucker at Michigan State. But those names right there, I think that the loser will start to turn that direction. Okay. Florida's just not quite up to par. It's not quite been what it was expected of Dan Mullen, and people's going to start talking. I'm just saying, I like these guys, but Florida's a good job, guys. Florida, in my opinion, Florida and LSU are better jobs than USC. They're talking about at USC, their reports is they don't want to pay anybody. They're talking about budget for staffs at USC. Do you ever think that a big SEC job would ever, and I'm talking about now, with the budget of all the SEC teams, because they share the profits, revenues, and everything of Alabama winning like that, do you think they're going to discuss at a LSU, Florida, or even Alabama what to pay the staff? No, it's whatever you want. Florida's a good job. LSU is a better job than USC. I would have never said that 15 years ago when Pete Carroll was there. Well, 10, 12 years ago, But Florida could come open, guys. Florida and LSU could come open. Chicago, possibly it would be a really long shot, but possibly San Francisco could come open. Going from college to going from college to the pros there. Those are just big games to watch, guys. As far as is that ball movement. Okay, Mary Kay Cabot from Cleveland.com says Baker Mayfield took first reps on Wednesday. He split first reps with Casey Keenum today. Again, I don't know what planet some of these people live on, but Baker Mayfield at 70% is not better than Casey Keenum. We don't know if Baker Mayfield, who is a much younger guy, 5 years, I think, than a Casey Keenum, is even better at 100%. Cleveland's playing Pittsburgh this weekend. Cleveland, they've got both of their offense. They've got both tackles back. They're going to have Odell Beckham and Jarvis Landry. You've got Ernest, what's the guy's name? Ernest Johnson, Ernest Brown, Ernest whatever. They can have Ernest T. Bass, the guy from those commercials and stuff. Hayvern Ernest to run the football behind that offensive line. They're going to be fine. But, again, with these young coaches, they are not argumentative or whatever. They're not confrontational, whatnot. So I just think that I would play Keenum. Okay, quite frankly, I would shut down Mayfield for the whole season. He's got this torn labrum. And quite frankly, I'm going to tell you guys what I think is going to happen. I think he's going to play about a quarter or two, and TJ Watt's going to hammer him, and then TJ Watt's going to hammer Mayfield, and then they're going to put Keenum in there. They're probably going to put him on the short leash, but that's that walking on eggshells type of thing, All right, game is on. Got to run. Okay, Brian, you got it, man. No sense of urgency. So, anyways, play Casey Keenum, guys. And a few more comments on a few more other games. By the way, in Dallas, speaking of 3-game leads, don't be crazy. Dak Prescott's got a calf injury. You've got a 3-game lead. You are head and shoulders above any other team in the NFC East. Please. I know Jerry Jones, it's prime time, Monday night, Sunday night. It's one of those prime time games. Don't play Dak Prescott Sunday. Damian Woody said today on Get Up, he said, yeah, my calf was okay. I was kind of playing through it. And then he tore his Achilles, So, Dallas, if you have to sit, and I would recommend it, sit Dak Prescott, okay? And I'll say this, another big game, Tennessee, Indianapolis will be playing, and I'll say this, both of them playing well, winning streak, 2-game winning streak. The Colts should be on a 3-game winning streak. They should have beat the Baltimore Ravens the other day on that Monday night game. And Tennessee, 2 of the biggest wins and back-to-back that I can remember in a long time since the playoffs. I think that the Colts are going to edge this one out. But if Tennessee can win this, they go a full 3-game league and a sweep here. This game is on the road. The Colts are favored for a reason. One of the biggest games, probably the biggest game of the weekend as far as competition-wise. We'll see how that one plays out. But like I said, that's going to be a tight race. I still like Tennessee to win this division. I like the Colts to ease that one out. But we'll see how it plays out. Wentz is playing pretty well. 1 interception. We had a battle. I don't know if that was an interception or not, but coming into that 49er game. But I tell you what, Frank Wright was throwing the ball down the field, and Shanahan wasn't in that rain game. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up, folks. Keep an eye out for those. Keep an eye out for those observations coming in to this weekend. Have a good night, everybody. I'll be back on Mac and Jack, Jim Jeffcoat, Sunday, 7:30 a.m. Central Time, the Northeast Streaming Sports on YouTube and on the and on Facebook Live. And of course, I'll be back here on Sports Scope around 9 p.m. Central Time. I'm going to get back to the game too, guys. Have a good night, everybody. I will see you then here Tuesday around 9 p.m. Central Time here on Sports Scope.